Now let's take you back a couple of days here, talk about one big development that broke this week regarding Denny Hamlin. He got hit with a massive points penalty, 75 points to be exact, and 10 playoff points as well being deducted from his total. Now, the penalty occurred due to Toyota rebuilding the engine from Bristol in March. Hamlin won that race, and Toyota rebuilt the engine before NASCAR could tear it down and inspect it. Jackson Toyota claims this is a, quote, grievous mistake and self-reported it to NASCAR. People were asking, why did they do that? The answer, of course, being NASCAR would have found it eventually regardless. But looking at this penalty, do you agree with the severity of it? And are you surprised, considering Toyota were the ones that self-reported? They didn't have to wait for NASCAR to discover it themselves.
It was a shocking penalty, especially coming out of like the fraction race being Bristol, which was it's kind of hard because this is it has to be one of the hardest wins that Denny's had in a while, or just a NASCAR win in a while. It has to be one of the hardest wins, and also possibly one of the least engine reliant wins that we've seen in a long time in the Cup Series. And that's the race that the infraction comes from. So that makes me believe that it truly was just a complete mistake, and they messed that up. That would not be the race to pull some engine shenanigans on. That being said, in the next gen car, NASCAR has made it unbelievably clear: do not mess with these parts. We will strike you down fast. And this, even though it was a self-report, these are still some harsh penalties. Taking out half of Denny Hamlin's playoff points, that is huge. I mean, you talk about the regular season not mattering. It matters, but unfortunately for Denny Hamlin, half of that just got erased. So huge penalty. I wouldn't say I'm surprised that this was, if it was in the wings, I'm not surprised that this is the strength of the penalty. I think it's interesting, this self-report. I'm interested to know the timeline. When did the engine changes happen? When did Toyota figure out that they screwed up? When did they tell NASCAR? What's the timeline on all these things? I'd be interested to know that. Particularly because we're headed to the playoffs now. If this had come out in a few weeks and we're like Denny Hamlin sitting in the round of 12, I'm glad that this all happened now and not a few weeks from now. And also the fact that it was Denny Hamlin. This wasn't like Ty Gibbs wins Richmond in the spring and now suddenly someone's entire season is thrown up in the air. I mean, even like Denny Hamlin's battle for the regular season title and those playoff points, that has all blown up here heading into these last few weeks. So very shocking, but thankful for the timing and I guess the infraction, the team that it was for.
Yeah, well, I guess considering they took playoff points away as well, maybe for once the points actually do matter, and the whose line is it anyway jokes can be put to rest for a little bit. But yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Denny Hamlin and Joe Gibbs Racing are a great driver and great team. I'm sure it's not a penalty that they can't overcome, but it does certainly hurt their position and makes winning the regular season championship at this point for Hamlin virtually impossible. And then we'll see if the playoff points come into effect as we get time for the cutoff races coming up the end of each round. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic that's been thrown into this championship mix here.